Here's a secret the marine industry doesn't want you to know. The most capable, rugged, and downright cool boats aren't always the ones with famous names and the biggest price tags. These are the best boats you've never heard of. These are the reliable underdogs, hand-built powerboats from icy Finland, wild New Zealand, and stormy Alaska that outperform yachts twice their price, but no one's talking about them. Yet. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which hidden gems could take you farther, faster, and tougher than anything you'll find at a boat show. If Batman ever owned a boat, it'd probably be an XO. These things look less like pleasure craft and more like they were stolen from a secret Scandinavian military base. Built in Finland, where the sea spends half the year trying to kill you, XO's deep V aluminium hulls are forged to take punishment. You don't baby these boats, you dare the weather to try something stupid. Take the XO Defender 9, 29 feet of jet black, double-stepped aggression that'll slice through 3-foot chop like it's butter. It's basically an SUV for the apocalypse, except it moves like a sports car with twin outboards strapped to its spine. The dash looks like a fighter cockpit, the windshield could stop small debris, and somehow they still found room for a mini cabin so you can warm up after conquering the Baltic. Most people buy boats for sunshine and champagne. XO owners, they buy them for storm clouds and bragging rights. These aren't toys for the marina crowd. They're machines for people who think a small craft advisory sounds like an invitation. Now, if that XO just set the bar high, don't even blink. The next one might raise it higher. Hit subscribe and stick around, because by the end, you'll find a boat you'll wish you'd discovered years ago. If a boat could wear a flannel shirt and chop wood before breakfast, it'd be a Sargo. These Finnish-built pilothouse cruisers don't do drama, they just get on with the job, no matter how nasty the weather gets. The Sargo 28 looks like it was designed by someone who said, "What if a tank could fish?" and then made it classy. Built entirely by hand in a small coastal town, every Sargo is basically a floating cabin for people who think vacation means dodging icebergs. The wheelhouse is warm, the lines are sharp, and the hull, it laughs in the face of 3-meter swells. You don't step aboard a Sargo, you step into a survival capsule with teak floors and cup holders. While most pleasure boaters are slathering sunscreen and blasting yacht rock, Sargo owners are out there in waterproof gear, sipping coffee as waves crash over the bow. They're the kind of people who think Mediterranean cruising sounds boring. Because Sargo isn't about glamour, it's about grit. It's the boat that makes you feel like a Nordic legend, even if you're just running late for brunch. If James Bond ever retired and moved to Helsinki, he'd own an Axopar. These boats look like something out of a futuristic chase scene. Sharp angles, stealthy colors, and a hull that screams "I eat wake for breakfast." Born in Finland, refined by adventure, Axopar basically turned boating into a Scandinavian sport. Take the Axopar 28. It's not just fast, it's did we just teleport fast. With twin Mercs on the back, this thing can outrun your weekend plans. And it's modular too. Want an open deck? Done. Cabin for the family? Easy. Fancy a wet bar because you're a civilized adrenaline junkie? Axopar's got you. But the real magic is how it feels. You don't drive an Axopar, you pilot it. Every wave feels like a racetrack corner, and every trip turns into an adventure vlog waiting to happen. It's like a Porsche for the water, only cheaper to maintain and probably better in the rain. While the yacht crowd is still polishing chrome, the Axopar owner's already halfway to a secret island, hair-soaked, grin wide, and thinking, yeah, this is living. If a Jeep and a coffee thermos had a baby, it would be a Sea Dory. These little American pocket cruisers look humble until the weather turns ugly. Then suddenly you realize you're piloting the marine equivalent of a mountain goat. The C-Dory 25 cruiser, for example, barely drafts a foot of water. You can beach it, tow it, or outrun a thunderstorm before your sandwich gets soggy. It's fiberglass simplicity at its best. Flat-bottomed, fuel-sipping, and allergic to nonsense. No chrome gimmicks, no infinity lounge deck, just a wheelhouse, a couple of bunks, and an attitude that says who needs fancy when you've got reliable. The best part? They sip fuel like a priest sips communion wine. Owners brag about crossing rough channels on what most yachts burn just leaving the dock. And because it's light, your truck becomes your yacht tender. Hook up and go find a new adventure spot every weekend. Sure, it's not flashy, nobody's popping champagne on the bow. But while they're waiting for the weather to clear, you'll already be across the bay, smiling, dry, and thinking this little box just embarrassed a fleet of 50-footers. Imagine if a tugboat and a camper van fell in love. That's a Ranger tug. These compact American cruisers are basically floating RVs, complete with beds, bathrooms, and more cup holders than common sense. The R27, for example, looks like it's ready to tow an oil tanker. But inside, it's all cozy wood, panoramic windows, and honey, we live here now energy. The magic is in the practicality. It's a full trawler you can tow with a pickup truck. You can launch it Friday, explore islands all weekend, and be back home by Monday. No marina drama required. Ranger tugs are hand-built in Washington State, where rain is a personality trait, so they're made to shrug off bad weather like it's just another Tuesday. Sure, it's cute, but don't underestimate it. With a big Yamaha outboard on the back, this thing can cruise faster than some sports boats twice its size. It's like that quiet neighbor who suddenly turns up in a leather jacket with a motorcycle. You don't buy a Ranger tug, you adopt it. And once you do, good luck explaining to your boss why you keep working remotely from another zip code. If Thor decided to go fishing, he'd take a Surtees. Built in New Zealand, where the ocean doesn't play nice, these plate aluminium beasts are more weapon than watercraft. The 650 KingFisher, for instance, looks like it could punch a hole through a wave and keep going just to make a point. Surtees are designed for people who see rough seas as a challenge, not a warning. Each hull is welded so tough, you could probably drop it off a cliff and it would just ask for more bait. They've got ballast tanks that flood for extra stability, self-draining decks, and enough storage to make a tuna nervous. You don't lounge on a Surtees, you hunt on one. There's no teak trim, no Bluetooth mood lighting, just pure Kiwi engineering that says, let's get the job done. Meanwhile, the Instagram yacht crowd is trying to find a good filter for their rosé. You're knee-deep in fish, soaked, grinning, and yelling, "Choice, bro!" Because that's how you celebrate victory when your boat's built to fight the sea and win every time. If that Kiwi powerhouse made you rethink what a fishing boat can do, don't go anywhere. The next ones take tough to a whole new level. Stick around till the end, because one of these hidden brands might just be your dream boat waiting to be found. If Canada built a superhero, it'd be made of welded aluminium and called KingFisher. Born in British Columbia, these boats are what you get when you combine lumberjack durability with engineer precision. Heavy gauge aluminium hulls, massive outboards, and a look that says I'll handle it. KingFishers come in dozens of sizes, from river rockets to offshore warriors, but all share the same DNA. No nonsense, no fear, and no fiberglass. They're the boats people use when the weather app says stay home. The KingFisher 2425 Offshore is a fan favorite. Tough, Fast and ready for anything, you can troll for salmon in the morning and crash through 5-foot chop in the afternoon without spilling your coffee. They ride smooth, steer tight, and handle like a snowmobile that learned manners. Most people buy boats for weekends. KingFisher owners, they buy them for survival stories. When a storm rolls in, everyone else heads back to the dock, while you're out there saying, "Let's see what she's got." And she's got plenty. These things are like Canadian hockey players, polite when idle, but absolute beasts when the game starts. If there were a most likely to survive the apocalypse award for boats, Hewescraft would win hands down. Born in the Pacific Northwest and bred for Alaskan abuse, these welded aluminium machines don't care about comfort, they care about coming home in one piece. The Hewescraft Alaskan is so tough it probably considers waves a light massage. These boats have deep bows, self-bailing decks, and fish boxes big enough to fit your ego after reeling in a halibut the size of a sofa. There's no fancy teak, no glass skylight, and definitely no Bluetooth playlist called Summer Chill Vibes. You get aluminium, horsepower, and a steering wheel that feels like a handshake from a lumberjack. Hewescraft owners are a special breed. They don't check the weather, they are the weather. When everyone else cancels their trip, they're just topping off the gas tank. And the best part, these boats last forever. You'll probably end up handing it down to your grandkids, who'll use it to fight off mutant sea otters in 2080. It's not glamorous, it's legendary. You know a boat's serious when the US Coast Guard orders from the same factory. That's North River. Built in Oregon, these heavy-gauge aluminium beasts are as American as black coffee and bad decisions in rough seas. The Coho 21 is the sweet spot, big enough to feel invincible, small enough to still fit on a trailer. North River doesn't do frills, no glossy paint jobs, no champagne holders, just sheer industrial-grade grit. They build for salmon hunters, rescue crews, and anyone crazy enough to go boating where the map fades to grey. Ride one through choppy Pacific swells and it feels like the boat's daring the ocean to do its worst. You can actually hear it whisper, "That all you got?" under the roar of the engines. These aren't weekend toys, they're battle wagons. So while fair weather captains are wiping down their yachts, you'll be launching into 4-foot chop with a thermos of coffee and a grin that says, "Let's make the sea regret inviting me." If MacGyver built a yacht, it'd be a Munson. These custom aluminium landing craft are half workboat, half superhero utility vehicle. Originally designed for government and rescue missions, they're now the ultimate toy for people who think weekend project means move an ATV across a sandbar. The best part? The bow opens, like literally folds down into a ramp. You can drive cargo, jet skis, or your dog's ego right onto the beach. It's a floating pickup truck with twin outboards and zero quit. Inside, it's pure function, heavy welding, military-grade hardware, and a deck that laughs at corrosion. You won't find marble countertops here, but you will find enough space to haul a small car, or a really big fish story. Munson owners don't just go boating, they go missioning. Every trip looks like a rescue operation, even if they're just fetching beer. It's overbuilt, overpowered, and unapologetically awesome. Forget yachts, this is the boat version of a tank with a vacation plan. Leave it to the Italians to make even a workboat look like it belongs in a cologne ad. Selva Marine doesn't just build boats, they build style statements that happen to float. Every hull is paired with Selva's own outboard, so the engine and boat are like espresso and biscotti, meant to be together. The beauty of Selva is in its simplicity. You're not bolting random parts from 5 brands and praying they play nice. You're getting a perfectly tuned combo straight from Italy, like a Ferrari that happens to catch fish. The ribs and fiberglass sport boats are light, quick, and designed for people who think speed limit is just a suggestion. You pull up to the marina in a Selva and suddenly everyone's speaking with their hands. The lines are sleek, the throttle response is instant, and even the steering feels like it's flirting with you. Sure, it's practical, but it's also just so Italian. You don't own a Selva, you pose with it, and if you ever run out of fuel, don't worry, just shout dramatically in Italian, and somehow it'll still look cool. Some boats are built for showing off. Parker Poland, built for showing up. These compact European pilot houseboats are proof that size doesn't matter. Attitude does. The Parker 660 pilot house is just 21 feet long, but it punches like a heavyweight. You get a deep V hull, a proper wheelhouse, and a cockpit that means business. It's the kind of boat that says, I'm not here for cocktails, I'm here for cod. And because it's trailerable, you can fish a new coastline every weekend without begging a marina for space. Inside, everything's practical. Easy clean decks, smart storage, and just enough room to crash overnight if the fish stop biting. Or if you forget what day it is. It's solid, seaworthy, and refreshingly affordable, proving you don't need to sell your house to own a serious offshore machine. If the Nordic boats are Vikings, Parker is the hard-working Polish mechanic keeping them all running. It's not flashy. It's not fancy, but it'll get you home every time. And if you do catch something huge, well, there's always room in the back for bragging rights. If IKEA ever made speedboats, they'd probably call Buster for advice. Simple, smart, and Nordic to the core, these aluminium boats are the go-to for half of Finland, and yet somehow most of the world's never heard of them. Busters are the unsung heroes of everyday boating. They don't boast, they don't break, and they definitely don't rust. Think of them as the Toyota Hilux of the sea. Just add outboard and go. Whether it's the tiny Buster Mini or the 33-foot Magnum, they all share one thing. Pure practicality wrapped in understated cool. You can beach them, bash them, or bounce them off a pier, and they'll still start the next morning like nothing happened. Maintenance, minimal. Durability, stupidly high. Sure, the rich yacht crowd might scoff at the plain metal finish, but when their fiberglass palace needs another urgent polish, you'll be halfway across the archipelago, grinning at your reflection in a hull that never quits. Buster isn't about luxury, it's about legacy. These boats don't impress people at the dock, they impress the ocean. And honestly, that's who you should be trying to impress anyway. Smartliner is what happens when someone looked at a £200,000 fishing boat and said, "Mate, I can do that for half the price and throw in a kettle." Designed for British waters, read rain, wind, and existential drizzle, these compact pilot houseboats deliver practicality without the posh markup. The Smartliner Pilot House 22 is a fan favorite, 22 feet of sensible engineering with a big cockpit, real shelter, and a live well that doubles as an ice chest for your catch, or your questionable beverage choices. It's the kind of boat you can hose down after a weekend and still have money left for petrol. Inside, it's cozy but capable. You've got just enough headroom to stand proud after landing a fish, and enough deck space to brag about it. It's built for anglers, not influencers. Forget champagne flutes, this is a thermos and bacon sandwich kind of boat. In a world full of overcomplicated marine experiences, Smartliner keeps it real. No nonsense, no drama, just good fishing and bad jokes with your mates. And honestly, that's what boating was supposed to be in the first place. If inflatable boats had a bodybuilder cousin, it'd be a Highfield. These ribs don't do delicate, they do demolition. With aluminium hulls under their tubes, they're light, fast, and tough enough to beach like a landing craft. You can drag them over rocks, sand, or your friend's bad parking decisions, and they'll still look ready for a Bond chase scene. Highfield's sport range runs up to about 30 feet, but even the smaller ones feel like pocket-sized super yachts on steroids. They plane fast, corner hard, and ride smoother than half the fiberglass boats twice their size. The best part? They're easy to tow and even easier to launch. It's the boating equivalent of grab your keys and go. Add a 150-horse outboard and you're suddenly the most fun person at the marina, at least until you start doing donuts. Highfield isn't for people who want to sit still, it's for people who treat the sea like a playground. Fast, fearless, and unreasonably fun, these boats prove you don't need a mansion on water when you can have a missile with seats. So there you have it, 15 incredible boats you've probably never heard of, but now can't stop thinking about. From Finnish battle wagons to Kiwi fishing beasts, these are the underdogs rewriting what small boats can do. If you enjoyed discovering them, drop a like, hit subscribe, and tell us which one would you take out first. The tank-like Sargo or the Batman-ready XO? Let's hear it below.